You like Ghost in the Shell? You like Appleseed? You like the comics of Masamune Shirow? Well, we have a legitimate gem that you are not going to want to miss out on today's video. Welcome to your favorite YouTube channel, Cartoonist Kayfabe. My name is Ed Piscor.
I'm Jim Rugg.
We are a daily YouTube channel with more than 1,500 videos in our filmography as we speak. We might have talked about some of your favorite comics. In fact, we have done videos on Ghost in the Shell. We've done videos on that first volume of Appleseed. Might have talked about some of your faves. So search through the channel, hit the little magnifying glass on the front page, search for your faves, watch those episodes. We are brought to you in part by the Patreon, and the King Kayfabers on the Patreon get access to all the videos before anybody else. We already gave them the scoop on Pieces Gem number 3, which is the one that we're going to be looking through today. So it was accessible on the aftermarket pretty easy. Might not be right now, so join the Patreon. It pays for itself. We're going to be at Big AppleCon come December 16th, Jimmy. It's a one-day festival in the great big city of New York, and it's been a while since Jimmy and I have been up there, so if you're in town, man, swing by, say what's up. And without further ado, man, let's take a look at this. Jimmy, the very first Pieces book that Brian Moss scooped up when we were in Tokyo, and by the way, Pieces Gem series is not to be confused with the Pieces series, which is just these little hardcover books that are about the same size as these guys here, that are just kind of full of those digital illustration things that Masamune Shirow like really started to luxuriate over once Photoshop became accessible and Wacom tablets and stuff. He scooped up this one here, and it's the one we'll look at. It's the entire first volume of Appleseed with, you know, published in kind of like a thumbnail format with the corresponding pencils right to the side. I don't think that these are the names. I think they are more tight and rigorous than that. But what a treat, right? To get your hands on some Masamune Shirow process work.
I find it fascinating because I haven't seen a book like this.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, like, what are they thinking? And are we going to start to get gems like this? Because, yes, fascinating, wonderful. I want to study these pencils.
Exactly.
Because we talk about not seeing much manga original art.
Right.
Never see manga pencils.
Never.
This is I'm so excited to see these.
I think about, it might be the self-portrait that he drew that's in the trade paperback of Ghost in the Shell. And it's fun to look at because you see that he has a PlayStation on the ground, and you see clear as day, we might have even talked about it on the Ghost in the Shell video, but there's a Xerox machine in that studio. And I don't know that these poor motherfuckers have an option to like Xerox their stuff that quick. Now, Shirow's career, the way that he operates, is not unlike American cartoonists, really. You know, he does not bind himself to that extremely rigorous and frankly unhealthy process of your typical successful mangaka. You know, he'll take his time to do the work and do the work as he sees fit and not worry about skipping a month or a week or something like that. He puts, when he was serialized his works, he gets it in when he gets it in. He's not killing himself. And, you know, he doesn't do much anymore because he doesn't fucking have to. I'm always curious about those guys who just work their dicks off and don't stop ever, you know? Like, and it's like, dude, you made your money. But I think there's a lot that goes into that shit. So just real quick, I want to point out that Pieces Gem 1, Ghost in the Shell. So we found this one first. So I thought that, like, maybe this one would be the same thing, but with Ghost in the Shell. How cool would that be? And it's not exactly the same. He's doing his like little fetish drawings, and I don't know, man, maybe talking about the world. So this was a bit of a disappointment. It's so cool to see his artwork, and I like it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if that's 2 or 1.5. Like, some of these images I recognize, and it's clearly, you know, he's going digital.
Yeah.
And it does make me curious to hear what the text is.
Yeah.
You know, because it would be cool to hear him talk about it. A guy who's so good on paper and then like really goes digital. It'd be interesting to get that if that's what this is.
Totally. Yeah, but not quite what I was looking for, not quite what I was hoping for. There's that classic first image. But these things, you know, it's 1,400 yen. It's $12, maybe even 11.
Yeah, hardcover, full color.
Right. This one, Pieces Gem 2, Neuro Hard, is a unfinished manga that Shirow serialized. I think he put out maybe 2 episodes, and just kind of never went back to it. So I doubt that we'll ever get an American treatment of this. So if this is the only option for me to like get some Shirow work, that, you know, at this point maybe now I have everything that he's ever produced.
Do you know if this is before or after Ghost in the Shell?
I think it is after.
Okay. That's really interesting then.
So I think that you know, the success of all that stuff, it's just like, oh, whatever.
Part of my reason for asking too is because he does go into that digital realm,
right?
So I wonder, you know, talk about never getting more of this.
Totally,
you know, it's rare morsels.
Yeah, he's not fucking with paper anymore.
Again, a pretty interesting format, presentation, and book. You know, very outside the normal manga tankobon kind of, I don't know, you know, publication style.
And I would suggest that this would be one to pick up if you're a Shirow fan. I feel like I could hear you know, Brandon Graham's fingers clicking on the keyboard right now, like scooping up his. But you know what? He's so deep, he probably has it.
Right,
and this is all old news.
He's
to
probably
him.
laughing at us.
I know, like a bunch of fucking noobs. Look at the proportionality and stuff. I could see guys like James Stokey digging this.
It's interesting, you know, like these manga artists who show up in the U.S. kind of early in the manga movement. I just find interesting, like who's what, who gets the audience. Right. I mean, like Shirow's, you know, giant. In my mind.
Right. Yeah, and he has such a little work out there that, like, almost the only Shirow stuff that you could find at the various stores really is just, like, the latest Ghost in the Shell tankobons and stuff. You don't even see, like, the original collection or whatever. So let's go through this one a little bit closer to just see what we have here.
Yeah, this is another one where I wish we could read whatever text accompanies this, because just the fact that he has pencils available, you know, when you said that, it does make me think, like Kirby had pencils of stuff because he got hold of a photocopy machine early on.
Right.
But, you know, like I think even watching like Man Ben episodes, you see some of these manga you wouldn't even get a finished pencil page. You know, it might be half inked and half penciled and, you know, half name,
right?
You know, like it's such a speedy process that it's pretty interesting that he works a little differently and has this record. Dude,
it even has stuff for the table of contents pages in the tankobons and shit. The process pieces for that.
That's amazing. It makes me wonder, like, what his file system, like, does he have everything?
Right.
This video is brought to you by the books that we make. New from Ed Piskor, X-Men Grand Design, collecting all 3 volumes of the X-Men Grand Design series in one convenient volume. 3 volumes of Red Room, now available. Crypto Killers, The Antisocial Network, and Trigger Warnings. And the beautiful Hip Hop Family Tree Omnibus, going quickly. So pick this one up while you can. All 4 volumes of Hip Hop Family Tree in one beautiful hardcover, along with about 150 extra pages, notes, artwork, everything you could possibly want in the Hip Hop Family Tree. The latest offering from me, Street Angel, Princess of Poverty, goes with Street Angel, Deadliest Girl Alive. Both books completely self-contained, but together they collect all of the Street Angel comics that I have made so far from Image Comics, which means you can get them wherever you get books or comics. My self-published offerings, True Crime Funnies, the 1988 zine, and the BW zine are all available on jimrugg.com or patreon.com/jimrugg. And Hulk Grand Design, my contribution to the Grand Design mythos, out of print at the distribution level. So pick this one up if you come across it before they are all gone. And now back to our video.
Look at this, man. It's how sort of crude it is. Like this could be name stage, and then you get to see what the sort of final.
You know, that would be the next step for whoever's like, whatever the next iteration of this kind of presentation is, like including the name, you know, give me all of it.
Right.
Give me every stage.
You know, I copied a substantial chunk of Appleseed 1 as a kid. So when I see this, it just makes me think like, oh my goodness, I totally remember like doing a 2-point perspective and trying to get this as right as possible. And as you go through this, because I did make note of it whenever I was looking through Brian's copy, it's not always 1-for-1. Like he does redraw some things, so you're getting to see some decision making happen along the way.
Yeah, you got one right there.
Yeah, there it is. There it is, man. Adding more beats.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff too. You wonder, like, is that an editor that?
Right.
You know, is that him reading it?
Here's one.
And thinking it could be made more clear or it's missing something?
Yeah, this one's substantial. It's Briarios doing his thing on top of a roof. And, or Or that's you know what that is? That's the descent. He's coming down.
Oh, right.
But it looks like he's in a warehouse going through boxes or something, and that descent is
that's amazing. Like, do you think that's something? Because you're right. When you look at the two differences, one reads very clearly compared to the other. If that's just something he catches,
right?
And is like, no, I gotta make that a little more clear. Some changes here too. There's quite a bit of some revision on these things. And it does feel like he's working out these like almost for clarity, at least on the examples that we've caught so far.
I mean, that's the reason for it when it comes to comics, right? Like if you're being an authentic cartoonist, the reader is always the first person that should be in mind, and the clarity of what they could read. Watching him build the figures is really, I mean, that's almost a fucking stick figure. You know, it doesn't have the weight to it or anything like that, but then when you see it in its final version, seeing he has the leg blacked out and stuff, like it's pretty solid.
Yeah, that clarity thing is really neat. Reading manga and thinking like it's almost a scan process.
Right.
It kind of takes that old Marvel adage of like you ought to be able to follow the action without reading the words to like the next level.
Yeah. Totally. But this one, like when I scooped this up, it was such a revelation that a big chunk of friends who I thought would benefit the most from this, like I took some pics and I sent them stuff like on email, Instagram, text, all that stuff. I'm like, we're going to be doing an episode on this, so you better want to scoop this thing up because they're going to go quick.
Here's just a very small difference on our face.
Little expression,
and it's even a different. It's a smaller head. Like it's a redrawn head. So
yeah, this body is different also.
Yeah, different expression on that too. It's great. Like, I could study these things. I wish they were bigger is my only criticism, but exactly. I mean, come on. I'd say that about almost any of them,
right.
Any artwork.
Yeah, I would like that, and I would like this page to be here.
Yeah, that'd
right
be
next
good.
to the
thing,
that'd be
too. Good. But I love the concept of it. Man, I wish it was blown up artist edition size, and you got one pencil on one side.
Agreed. Now, this could be names. Mm-hmm. This absolutely could be just the manuscript that he sends off to the editor.
I think you could be right, because there's no detail on those faces. You're seeing like just the plus sign for your face.
Right. Which is also cool to see that he breaks things down like that. It is cool.
And it kind of makes me wonder, like, is that a situation where he drew half the like where maybe it's in pieces, the original pieces or the original pages for it.
Right.
How about these blanks, Like, what are we looking at? See, that could be one, too. Deadlines are coming. You end up inking part of the page. You never have, like, the clean, full pencils.
Yeah. And you just, like, do a lot of drawing in the ink stage or something. I always loved this panel. Like, the balls of just the brevity and leaving that completely white. Like, I mean, it left an impression on me.
That is one benefit of seeing them at this size, is you really do get to read the composition of the pages. Like that panel pops.
Right.
And same with this to a little bit of a different degree, but same concept. Like he's really using white space, especially when you get to like a couple of pages like this where there's virtually no white.
Right. Pieces Gem 3 is the one to get, guys. I saw it for about $35 on Amazon. Jimmy, take a look at the chat and see if the King Kayfabe, see how many King Kayfabers have bought it already.
Yeah. This could be one that's affected. Funny to have videos like this now and then is like point up the value of the King Kayfabe position. Because I don't know how many of these. It doesn't seem like this would be a big selling book. There can't be a huge print run on these. I don't think.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like the Japanese audience is really starving too much for processed stuff. It's really consumption.
That's interesting. It makes me wonder, because there's such a big scene of makers,
right?
Like where they're getting their info.
Yeah.
How present that is. Whenever I went to Japan, I remember going through like these like multi-story comic book stores.
Oh yeah.
And there would be like gallery on floor 7, and there'd be like maybe a fan artist on floor 6 or whatever. So like it maybe it is pretty accessible, like figuring out how this stuff is done and seeing it.
I mean, even at the stationery store, you could get blue line paper to draw your thing.
Yeah.
You were talking about it in maybe our Comitia video where you talk about like NBA and how, across America, there's thousands and thousands and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of kids that are ballers.
Probably millions.
Yeah, and you through attrition and competition, like the top 400 get to be in the NBA. I personally have been to conventions with 35,000 exhibitors, you know? These are the people behind the fucking table who are selling their comics. So, of course, they're going to work all that out. And the best of the best, you know, get the primo position. Because the competition is so great. It's an interesting thing to think about, that's for sure. But the Pieces Gem series by Masamune Shirow, not to be confused with Masamune Shirow Pieces series, which is about 10 books. And I think it's very clear when you see it. You know, like it's all like the porny fucking chicks on the cover of those other ones. But the Gem series, particularly Pieces Gem number 3, is the highlight of today's Cartoonist Kayfabe video.
Dude, super exciting for Shirow. Super exciting as like a glimpse into the manga machine too.
Yes, sir.
You know, like this is something I could see more of these coming up. You know, like every now and then you get to see some interesting presentation or format or something.
Right.
And to me, this is a really interesting one that I haven't seen before. So hopefully the beginning of a lot more volumes like this.
Agreed, man. Good to go?
Yes.
Kayfabers, like, follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the bell so that we can notify you when new videos are available. In part, the Cartoonist Kayfabe channel is brought to you by the Patreon, and the King Kayfabers on the Patreon get all the videos before anybody else. They've been hanging out with us in the live stream recording chat room as we make these videos too, so you mitigate the Kayfabe effect by getting those videos before the vids hit Gen Pop. We are going to be at Big AppleCon in New York, December 16th. Make sure you swing through. Come say hi. It's been a while since me and Jimmy been in the Big Apple, so we look forward to seeing you, man. We know a lot of friendly faces out there. See you there December 16th. Ultimately, very important, the videos are brought to you by the books that we make. And before you, a little sample of the bibliography, but let's get into the details. Jimmy, what do you have?
My latest release is Street Angel Princess of Poverty from Image Comics and Street Angel Deadliest Girl Alive. Together, these two books collect all of my Street Angel comics that I have made so far. This actually collects some of the original Street Angel comics. So this is the 20th anniversary of Street Angel's publication. And unlike Deadliest Girl Alive, most of these are in black and white. So kind of a contrast. We look at a lot of cartoonist early work. This is a chance to see a character evolve over about 20 years from the oldest to the newest story that is featured in there. I've also been self-publishing quite a bit. The 1986 zine, the BW zine, and True Crime Funnies are available on my website, jimrugg.com, or on my Patreon, patreon.com/jimrugg. You can read those. And the Hulk Grand Design, collecting my issues of Hulk Grand Design into one oversized volume. These are basically out of print. So if you haven't picked up a Hulk Grand Design yet, get one before they are completely gone, whether it's in your local comic shop if they still have one, or on Amazon if they still have them. But pick that up now, because the way Marvel keeps books in print, or doesn't keep books in print, those may be very difficult to come by.
It's true, man. The Hip Hop Family Tree Omnibus is in stores today. We only have about 25% of these things left in stock, so you got to get it sooner than later, especially if you want to get this as a Christmas present for your loved ones. Thanks everybody who have already grabbed the books. Much appreciated. It's the best book I've made to date, and I appreciate your patronage. The order of the day has been Red Room Comics for the past 3 years. 3 seasons of Red Room Comics, and come January is Crypto Killers, man. The last season of Red Room Comics to date, collecting 4 stories, all individual stories. So you can pick any of these volumes of Red Room up, and you're going to get a good sample. You should probably not scroll through anymore, because you never know what's going to be in that. That's the most hardcore Red Room comic that I've ever drawn. And in November came the X-Men Grand Design Trilogy trade paperback, collecting all of my X-Men Grand Design works. Some of those volumes are out of print and didn't get a reprinting in that Treasury Edition format. So this is the way that you're going to be able to get your hands on all of my Red Room comics. This page got full price for that, man. Writing, lettering, and drawing credits.
You should do. You should take like blank pieces of paper to shows in your portfolio, just signed, and be selling this page over and over.
Super fun, man. The books are the most important way to support the Cartoonist Kayfabe channel. We are working, functioning cartoonists, and our book sales are what ultimately pay the bills. But there's some other levels of support that you can give to the Cartoonist Kayfabe channel directly. Jimmy, if you let the people know.
You can subscribe to the Cartoonist Kayfabe e-newsletter at the links below this video. You can also listen to Cartoonist Kayfabe in podcast form if you are commuting and don't want to get too distracted with the video on screen. Obviously, the video is the best way because you want to see this beautiful artwork, but we know that some people have requested it in their cars, and so now that is available wherever you get your podcast. You can also pick up Cartoonist Kayfabe t-shirts, merchandise, hats, mugs, stickers, and more at our spread shop. That link is under this video.
There you have it. All the ways to support the Cartoonist Kayfabe channel and your humble Cartoonist Kayfabe hosts. Without further ado, Jimmy, can you please give the people the marching orders so that we can be on our way?
Read more manga.